Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Learning from Pictures series. In this class, let me just mute everyone's microphone for just a second because I'm getting lots of noise on your end. Okay, just for the introduction, let me mute everyone. In this hour, we're going to work on our powers of description by looking at real pictures from around the internet and around the world. There is no Photoshop in these pictures. They're all real situations that really happen. And you are going to work on your descriptive words, adjectives, your powers of description. We're going to see different ways to approach an image, talking about what we can see with what we know, what's going on behind the image, what the situation is, what it would be like if we were there, putting ourselves into the situation, and many other things. So we'll go over that in just a minute. But first, quick introduction about me, and then we'll get started. There you go. I think you can see my name on the board. All right, on the screen, not the board. That's what I meant to say. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you today from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. And by the way, if you click on the Verbling chat window, let's see. Give me just a second while I get my link up there. Let's see if that worked. There we go. Now it's working. If you click on the link, the Verbling chat window that I just pasted for you, or you go to my profile page, you will see exactly... Oh, everything is so slow today. Give me a second. Hangout is very slow. You will see this when it loads. There we go. Now it's loading. This is my profile page, and on the left side you can click follow to be notified of my upcoming classes, my upcoming group classes, and on the right you can book a private tutoring session or package with me, and I will work with you on creating a personalized learning plan to help get you to your goals as soon as possible. Something that we can't do in a group class is personalize the lessons, but we can do it in private tutoring. If you're interested, just send me a message first before you book so I can make sure that I have time for you in my schedule. Also, let's take a look at the material for today, which you'll see in just a second. Learning from Pictures, number 15. So what we're going to do is approach images in different ways to unlock your powers of description. Let's get the first slide on the board. And what I'll do is, after we're done, I'll give you the link to this, and you can review the pictures and remember some things that were said. That will be a good way for you to refresh your vocabulary. All right. It's a little slow. Okay, while I'm waiting for it to load, let's just see who's out there. Let me just test your microphones. The first person I saw was Mr. Dennis. Hello, Dennis. How are you?
Hello, Eric.
There you go. Excellent. Nice to see you today. Mr. Giancarlo, you were the next in. How are you?
Fine, thank you, John. Good morning.
Very good, very good. Rebecca, morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Very good, very good. Okay. And Alina, how are you today?
Hello, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. Good. Frederic?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. And Mr. Jose?
Hi, John.
Hi.
Couldn't be better.
Julieta, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. So, in the past, I've given you a kind of a strategy to follow. I'm going to put those notes on the board in the chat window again, just for you to refer to. You don't have to follow precisely this strategy, but let me just put it there. So in the chat window, you can see these 5 levels. For example, oh, forget about that first comment there. That's a note to me. The second one, knowledge. What items can you name with the vocabulary you know? Comprehension. What is happening in the photo? Application. What one-sentence caption would you write? Analysis, synthesis, and evaluation are all about you coming up with a new idea based on the picture. Not so much a description, but presenting your own ideas or evaluating, deciding whether something is good, bad, right, wrong, etc. Some examples are, where do you think these people are? What might they be thinking? Are they too young, too old, etc. So this is really taking vocabulary you've learned in the earlier questions and applying it to come up with your own idea. So we're going to work on these 1, 2, 3, 4 different levels of description. And each one has a different set of vocabulary words that make it sound good. I'll be putting the notes in the chat window as we go along. Okay, let's start with a newcomer, Julieta. What's going on in this picture?
Oh.
Oh!
Okay.
Remember, these are all real. There's no Photoshop here. With what can you say about this with the vocabulary that you have?
Okay, I think the man tripped in a hole on the road.
Ah. The man tripped. Say again. The man tripped in.
In a hole on the road.
Ah, the man tripped in a hole. I mean, the man tripped and fell into. Fell into a hole in the road. Okay.
And
You
the
think
hole
so?
is full of water.
Which was full of water. Okay. You think so?
More or less.
Maybe he lives there. Maybe this is the public swimming pool, wherever the picture was taken. I don't know.
Yes, he was so willing to swim that he thought to dig a hole and full it of water.
Maybe he didn't fall in. Maybe he's climbing out. Maybe he's from the center of the earth. You don't know. Mr. Giancarlo, where do you think this picture was taken? And why? Where do you think it's taken and why? And why do you say that place?
I don't know, maybe it's a Latin country because of the people. Maybe in Brazil, maybe in Argentina. I'm not sure.
I don't know either, but why do you say it's a Latin country? What makes you think that?
Because of the people, you know, dark skin, the complexion. There are no white people over there. No English people, not American people, but maybe Brazilian or Latin American people, I think.
Okay, good. So perhaps this takes place in a Latin American country because of people's dark complexions. Could be, yeah. Okay. I was going to say also, maybe the buildings give you a clue as well. Perhaps the buildings give you an idea of where this could be. Those buildings, they could be here in Portugal. They look very much like the kind of building that was done in the 80s or something like that. Let's talk about what's really going on. So we talked a little bit about what we saw, a guess about why the man was in the water. Let's go to the comprehension question. Rebecca, what's really happening in the photo, beyond what we can see?
Well, my idea is there are some engineering works on the road, you know, and the guy had to get into the hole to fix something to do it, because people are acting like something normal, you know.
Okay.
So you can see some. It's not the name rubbish, but you know, with the soil around, very good, and the hall is very good made it. You know,
Uh-huh.
it was made it by a machine.
Okay. So let's see if I got this straight. The idea is that
Engineer works, yeah,
Mhm.
on the road.
engineer works on the road, and the guy had to get into the hole to do something
Yes.
official because everyone is acting normal. Okay, good. The only problem there is the word engineer or engineering works, because that doesn't sound quite right.
No?
Anyone,
Okay.
let's ask the class. How would you say that? I don't know if I'd say engineer works. I don't know what that means. Class, what would you say to describe that thing that the man is in and the fact that the road is cordoned off with a rope? What do you call it when people open the road and they fix things? Class.
Workers.
Huh?
The workers are trying to fix some problem.
Yeah, but what do we call it when you have to block the traffic like that and open up the road?
Ah, okay.
Do you know?
Workers.
Julieta, what did you say?
Construction.
Construction. Right.
Okay.
Construction. There's construction going on in the street. There's construction going on. So rather than say works, Rebecca,
Yes.
which is Spanish, because it's like in Portuguese we have the same thing. We say obras.
But you know what? I heard sometimes, for example, when the Sun station in London was closed, tube station, and in the tube I could hear next station is closed because of some engineering works.
Engineering works? Really? Are you sure?
Something, yeah, well, something like that, yeah. Engineer, sure.
Huh. All right. It's I guess we could say well, first of all, for construction, the example would be there's construction up ahead. Please use the detour, right? There's construction up ahead.
Construction. Okay.
That means that the road is blocked off and they're digging in it. For works, I guess we could say there's construction work. I guess you could say it like that. It's not so unusual. There's construction work being done in a certain area. Maybe we could say it like that. Okay? Giancarlo, was that clear? There's construction work up ahead. There's construction work going on downtown.
Can I say the construction is going on in this place?
In the picture, you mean?
In the picture, yeah. The construction is going on in this street today because there was a problem in the tubes or in the pipes or...
Not the construction, but there is construction. There is.
There is a construction or there is construction, John?
There is construction. There is construction. It's abstract.
It's abstract.
Yeah, you can't say one construction, two constructions. Therefore, you cannot say a construction because it's an abstract noun. Not a countable concrete noun, but an abstract uncountable noun. So you would say there is water on the street and there is construction on or in the street. On the street, I guess. There's construction on this street. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's
Okay.
construction on the street.
That's right.
John, how do you call the tubes that goes through the under the pavement, under the streets? Tubes or pipes, or how do you call them, John?
Pipes.
Pipes.
They're repairing. There's construction on the street because they're repairing the pipes. They're repairing the pipes.
Okay.
I don't know who they are, but whoever they are, they're repairing the pipes.
The pipes. Okay. Yes.
And I wouldn't say sewer, Juliet, because the sewer, it's not really wrong, but it's just that the sewer is for sewage, and I don't know what pipes he's referring to. It could be water, could be gas lines, which have a kind of piping. just because I don't know exactly what it is. So just the pipes. Everyone knows what you mean. Okay, so we have the idea that this is a Latin American country because of the dark complexion of the people we see. We have an idea that this isn't so unusual because everyone's acting normal. Of course, it could be that they just saw the guy right now. I don't know. Let's go on to our comprehension. We did the comprehension. Let's go on to our application question. Frederic, what caption would you give this picture if you saw it in the newspaper today? You're the one editing the newspaper. What caption would you write under this picture? Your caption can be original, or it can be an application of things you've seen or heard earlier in the class. What do you think, Frederic?
A man fell into a wall in the street.
A man? I'm going to put this in the present because it's a newspaper caption. So a man falls into a hole in the street?
In the street, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
Yeah.
Come on. There's so much more going on. A man falls in a hole in the street.
You know, maybe it could be a prisoner who is escaping, because I think the guy on the motorcycle is a policeman. Maybe
exactly. He's got a uniform, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's a man who is escaping from a prison. And
a man escapes from a hole in the street. There you go.
And
I like that.
He would be hidden in the hole, but the policeman see him.
That could be.
Yeah.
Who knows? We're going to find out in a moment. Mr. Dennis. Mr. Dennis.
Yes.
What is the man in the hole thinking? Look at his facial expression. Tell me what he's thinking.
This man. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know.
I don't know either. But
what is thinking?
I don't know
Maybe.
what he's thinking either. But yeah, give me a guess. What do you think he's thinking? If you were him, what would you be thinking in this moment?
Maybe he think what.
Whoops! I lost the picture. Sorry. Hold on. Let me get my picture back. One moment. Oh, sorry. Let me fix the picture. There we go. Sorry about that. Maybe he's thinking what? Maybe he's thinking
This dirty walk.
he's thinking I'm up to my eyeballs in dirty water. Perhaps he is. Perhaps he is. Alina, do you agree? Do you think he's thinking about the dirty water? Look at his expression, Alina. What do his eyes tell you?
I think he was trapped in this hole of water, and I can see he's waiting for help, and he almost asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a little bit frightened, maybe.
Maybe he's a bit frightened. He does look. He definitely has a kind of funny look on his face. And how does the cop look to you on the motorcycle? Is there a story going on there?
I think the police officer is shocked about this accident, since he see this, and but the police officer has his own job, and that's why he can't help him at once. Maybe.
Or maybe he doesn't want to get wet.
Yeah.
Let's find out a little bit more about it. shall we? Mr. Giancarlo, do you think you could read the caption in the chat window that I just posted?
Yes, John. Where it says we asked the photographer from there?
Right. Photographer.
Photographer, okay. We asked the photographer, Rodrigo Ab, for the backstory on this image. I left the AP office in downtown Caracas and I jumped on a motorbike taxi, the only way to move in Caracas as a journalist to try to find some daily life pictures from the wire, basically trying to describe the mood of the people days before the presidential elections. Only 2 blocks from the office I suddenly saw this incredible situation, so I jumped off the motorbike to document the scene. It was surreal, this guy almost covered by water trying to fix a public tube. I spent almost 20 minutes there until the man finished his work. For me, it was a symbolic image of the political situation in Venezuela, where millions are trying not to drown in the multiple problems facing the South American country. Amid the fighting between the government and the opposition that seemed to worsen every day. The photograph was taken on September 26, 2012, and won second place in the Every Life category in the Picture of the Year Latin America 2013 contest.
And there you go. This was in the New York Times. Let's see, what was the date of the New York Times? This was published in the New York Times in 2013, and it was a winner of that contest. Does that surprise you? We weren't so far off. Actually, we kind of guessed it, because we did say a Latin American country, and we did say at one point that he might be fixing the pipes, and he is fixing the pipes. There you go. But now we know the motivation of the photographer of this picture. Anyone surprised? Is that what you expected? Anyone disappointed? Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
Not disappointed. No. No.
Okay. Let's go on to a second picture. Every picture has a story. Rebecca, tell me some things you can see in this picture. Name some things you can see in this picture. And with the vocabulary that you have, this one is a slightly different situation.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Well, you know, we can see one of the most famous characters of the cinema industry. He is Frankenstein, and I think this is taken in a museum. You know, maybe in some museum, cinemas museum, maybe, you know?
Maybe, could be.
Yeah,
by the way,
the position is funny, you know, so he's taking a coffee and having a coffee and smoking. So, well.
It's not like Frankenstein was a non-smoker in the movies, I'm pretty sure.
So it's a kind of a funny museum of cinema.
Could be, could be. By the way, not he's Frankenstein, but it's Frankenstein.
It's why? It's a man.
No, it's not. It's an image. And because it's an image, we say it's. Actually, even if it wasn't an image, right? Think about when someone knocks on your door, right?
Yeah.
Who is it? Not who are you, but who is it? Because we don't yet know if it's a person or if it's Frankenstein. We don't know what it is. So it is just the common expression. Even if you were there, you would say, you know, who is it? It's Frankenstein. It's got to be it.
That is the reason when we answer the telephone, it's Rebecca. You know, it's not okay.
That's right. That's right. Because what you're really saying is, it's Rebecca speaking.
Yeah, sure. I did a lot of time, but I thought, well, it's the way, just do it. But I didn't know never the reason.
And here you're saying it's Frankenstein because it's Frankenstein, or in this case, Frankenstein's monster, to be exact. Frankenstein was the doctor. It's Frankenstein's monster sitting there. So what you're really doing is cutting the sentence in half when you say it's Frankenstein. Okay?
So,
just so you know.
One question. When I'm describing a person, who is in a picture or in a museum or in a magazine, the way to express about that person is saying it.
Yeah, if you're describing the image, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Good, yeah.
Now, you would not say it's smoking because then you're describing the action of the person.
Okay, but just when I'm talking about the person, it's the president of blah blah. It's the director of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So when you're talking about pictures, images, or you don't really know the person, basically it's an it. Okay. Mr. Jose, what do you think's really going on in this picture?
I think this picture tries to capture the attention of the public or of the viewers.
Jose, you say that a lot. What do you mean? Remember the picture? I said you say that a lot. Remember the picture of the duck in London that time a couple of classes ago? You said the same thing. Someone's trying to capture the attention of the public. Why? Why do you think someone's trying to capture the attention of the public here? Is that what you meant? Capture
because I think it is a figure. It is a wax work.
You think it's waxworks? Oh,
waxworks that is located in a museum.
Okay. So perhaps it's a wax
work. Wax figure.
Yeah, perhaps it's a wax figure.
It's located in a museum, and
could be.
The people could visit this museum, and the figures tries to capture the attention of the public because they have to pay some ticket or some bill to view this ticket.
Right.
Some ticket to view these figures.
Okay, well, let's take a look at another angle on this.
Yes.
Okay. Frederic, let's see if you agree with Jose that this is a wax figure. Look at this picture now. What do you think, Frederic? Do you think that it's a wax figure?
Actually, I think it's an actor having a rest during between
takes.
Between takes, yeah.
There you go. Between takes. Okay, very good. Takes. What do I mean by takes? When do we have a take?
When we take a picture. So when.
Not when we take a picture. When we take a motion picture.
Motion picture.
Only when it's a movie. In other words, when you shoot a movie, you have a take. When you shoot a movie, you have a take when the camera is in one position filming the scene. When you stop the camera and you start it again, you have another take. They'll say, take 2. That means do it again. Take 3, do it again. So every time the camera rolls and it's a motion picture, it's a take.
Okay.
If it's a single still picture, it's a shot. Okay? So just to compare, take and shot. Shot is for a still image. Hopefully that's clear. Okay, so here we've got an actor between takes. Very good. I agree. And tell me something. What's something you see, Frederic, in this picture that you didn't see in the last picture? What's something new?
There is some food and some drinks on the table.
That's true.
And I think he's eating something.
That's true. And before, what was he doing before?
He was smoking and have a coffee.
A coffee? Let's take a
Or
closer
tea,
look.
maybe a tea. I don't know.
What do you think, class? Coffee or tea?
Tea.
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 Tea, definitely.
Yeah.
He's drinking a cup of tea.
Yeah, a cup of tea maybe. What got my attention is the smoking from the cigarette, because the cigarette is on, I think so.
Cigarette is lit?
Yeah, I think.
And don't say I think so. You're forbidden to say I think so.
I think. Yeah. Observe the cigarette, and the cigarette is lit.
It's
and
lit.
It's smoking. It's lit, and.
So it's not wax. You do not want to put a lit cigarette near a wax figure. That would be very bad.
Exactly.
You will not have your wax figure for very long if you put a lit cigarette there.
Mm-hmm.
That absolutely. So it's got to be a real person. Cigarette is lit, meaning that it's burning. Okay. Well, Giancarlo, take a look at this picture and now tell me what's happening.
They are ready. They are almost ready to act in the next
Scene.
part of the film. Scene. And they are maybe taking a break after long hours of recording.
Of filming.
Filming.
Not recording, because it's not audio. If it was audio, you'd be recording, but for film, it's filming.
Okay, a filming, John. And I remember some of the characters there. For example, the guy who has the pictures in his hands.
Right.
I think he acted in the film. I remember him, I think, because of his curly hair and his bathrobe. I'm not sure, but I remember a little bit about them.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if he's wearing that. That's called a smock, by the way, just so you know. He's wearing a smock, Giancarlo.
Smock, John. Smock is a bathrobe. I'm sorry. It's
not a bathrobe, but a kind of a robe that a painter will wear to protect his clothing, his or her clothing. So the man with the curly hair is definitely wearing a smock, kind of a smock. But perhaps that's because I'm not sure if he's an actor in the film or if he's trying not to. Oh, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe he is, because they were putting makeup on them and they have the smock to protect the costume. So maybe you're right, Giancarlo. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe he is an actor, because the guy in the middle also has a smock on, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And let's see. And Alina, tell me about the guy on the far right side. Is he wearing a smock, Alina?
No, he is banded with bandage, maybe. I don't.
Is bandaged up.
Bandage up. Okay.
With bandages.
With bandages, yeah. And he looks very relaxed. And he
can't move legs because they're tied together. It looks like he looks like either he only has one leg or his legs are tied together, so he can't go anywhere. He's got to be.
Oh
relaxed.
yeah, I couldn't see that. Okay, I see now. Yeah, and he's drinking a cup of tea too, and his head with bandages too.
Mm-hmm. His head is bandaged up.
Bandaged up.
By the way, is he drinking tea or is he having a cup of tea? Is he drinking or having? When we talk about meals, we tend to use the verb to have.
Okay.
So he's not drinking tea, because we don't drink coffee, we don't drink tea. We have coffee and we have tea.
Okay.
So he's having
He's
tea.
having a cup of tea.
It's tea time. Tell me, what period do you think this is? Because this doesn't look like the mummy that was made a couple of years ago. He's a mummy, by the way.
Oh.
He's the cursed Egyptian mummy, by the way. What time period do you think this picture comes from?
I think it's maybe 1890s, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I guess you get confused around black and white pictures. Okay. 1890s. I don't know if I agree. Maybe a little more recent. Giulietta, what period do you think it is? Do you think it's the 1890s?
I don't know.
Let's see. What if I change the picture and give you one last one here? Okay. Now you can really see what's going on. So, when do you think this takes place? You've got a different picture?
Yes, I know when. 70.
1970s.
Yeah, because there is
almost 100 years later.
dryer. Really?
Because of the hair dryer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Class, do you agree? 1970, or do you think 1890? Big difference.
1970.
1970. Everyone thinks it's 1970 because the guy's wearing a T-shirt. It's not 1970. I highly doubt it. Because this movie was made when? When was the original Frankenstein made? Does anyone know?
1940 and 1950, I think.
Earlier.
Wow.
Even earlier.
1930. Or 40.
1931.
1931.
1931. Okay. In fact, let's find out a little bit about this picture. I don't have really a caption, but I have a little bit of information for you. Not this picture, but this time period. Okay? So, let's see, who hasn't read? Giulietta, do you think you could read this little description I just posted in the chat window?
As a British man, Karloff is often pictured with an iconic cup of tea. Sometime
There's
in
a mistake there. Sorry, it's a little mistake. That should say, hold on. That's weird. There's some kind of typo. So it should say, as a British man, Boris Karloff. In fact, here. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a little part missing. His given name is William Pratt, but he went by the stage name Boris Karloff. He died in 1969, by the way. Karloff found fame in the breakthrough role as Frankenstein's monster in the 1931 film. So that's who we're looking at, Boris Karloff. Sorry, continue, Giulietta.
Makeup stylist heightened and flattened the 44-year-old head using cotton and gum. Then 44-year-old.
There you go.
Head using cotton and gum. Then stiffened his eyelids, painted his fingernails black, and smeared his skin with green, greasy paint.
Grease paint.
Grease paint, which made him appear deathly white on film.
Right, because it's black and white. So the black and white registers colors in different shades of gray. So if you paint someone green, they appear white. because of the way the black and white is sensitive to light. If you could see in color the makeup that they used to use, people looked really weird in color because they would have to paint their faces to look good in black and white, so they'd use all kinds of weird colors which would register in different ways. Blues and reds look different in black and white depending on the kind of film. So, and grease paint is what you use in the theater. Grease paint is stage makeup, just so that's clear. Okay? Keep going. Let's find out a little bit more about Mr. Karloff.
Karloff was 5 feet and 11 inches.
11. 11.
11. So, to increase the height, costumes fitted him with platform boots. Each boot weighed around 30 pounds and was formed from 2 boots designed for asphalt spreading.
So, in other words, he had the same costume designer as Lady Gaga.
He wore a jacket with sleeves that were too short and 2 pairs of pants. The cameras filmed his scenes at a low angle to create the illusion of a heft.
Heft meaning being heavy, being fat. Because he wasn't that big of a guy. Well, he's bigger than me if he's 5'11", but he wasn't like really muscular. So they filmed him at a low angle to make him look bigger and stronger. Keep going.
The finished look, complete with the monster's famous metal bolt, electrodes, and scars, was quickly copyrighted by Universal Studios. Karloff never became an American citizen despite living there for several years. He spent the last 10 years of his life in a cottage in rural England. He never changed his name, signing the documents William Pratt, a.k.a. Boris Karloff.
Wow, that's kind of weird, don't you think?
Yes.
So, at the time, and even today, it's not strange for people to create a new name because their real name doesn't sound very good, you know, in the credits of a movie or on stage. So, but he kept using his fake name all of his life. Kind of weird. William Pratt, a.k.a. Boris Karloff. By the way, have any of you never heard of Boris Karloff? Really famous actor. No?
No.
No? Okay. Just curious. He was Frankenstein. He was the Wolfman. He was basically everything. So now you know a little bit about. Well, you can almost see his real face. He looks a lot like Lou Reed for some reason. Okay. We've got maybe time for one more here. So let's take a look at picture number 3. Who's going to start us off here? Oh, Frederic, why don't you start us off?
Okay.
What can you see with the what can you name with vocabulary that you have? Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's a...
You have to describe that thing, whatever it is.
Okay, it's like a big orange, very weird vehicle with don't know if it's a man or an alien inside.
A man or a what?
An alien.
Alien. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, maybe it's a kind of a funny invention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a funny invention. Okay, yeah. Does it look like any vehicle you've ever seen?
No, I've never seen this kind of vehicle.
It looks like it's two... You know those things, Frederic, that you use to make orange juice?
Yeah. It's like two of it. Yeah.
It's like 2 of those orange juice squeezers put together, and then someone driving it. Interesting. Let's see if we can find out a little more about it. Okay, so let's take a look. Jose, here's another angle for you. Okay, what do you think about it? What do you think about this now? Now that you can see it in a different location.
So I think it's a prototype that this prototype could be drive
Driven?
even over different roads.
Ah, okay. We could say it like this: a prototype that could be driven over
Could be driven over
over
different
different,
roads.
no, not roads, over different terrain.
Over different terrains.
Right.
You can drive this prototype over the road, over the grass, over the water,
Exactly.
over different terrains.
Right. So terrain is, like you said,
Yes.
water is a kind of terrain, swamp is a terrain, desert is a terrain, roads are another
Yes.
terrain. It means like different surfaces. Okay, very good. Let's see. Alina, I'm going to give you another picture here. I think I have another angle.
Okay.
There you go. Here's yet another context where you can see this thing. Now that you can see it from the side, what do you think it was used for? Now that you see this picture, what do you think it was used for?
Oh, it looks like it can drive fast because I can see on the image that the image is not focused.
Right, right.
On the back screen.
Because the image is blurry.
Blurry. Okay.
Right, blurry. Another way to say unfocused. Unfocused could be that you took the picture badly. Blurry is usually because there's too much motion to be able to catch it. So I would say it looks like you can drive fast because the image is blurry, like blurred from the motion. Okay, yeah, I agree. Absolutely. So these are two really fast orange squeezers. I don't know what it is. And what do you think it was used for, since it can drive fast?
Actually, I don't have the idea for what. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, okay. Giancarlo, if you were going to compare that to a conventional vehicle, what would you say are some of the differences?
I consider this vehicle, well, it seems to be a vehicle designed to cross different terrain, as you mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's totally different from the normal vehicles or the common vehicles, because it has two big wheels and two small ones, and it seems to be the wheels are not heavy. I mean, it seems to be very, very light in order to cross the water and how do you say
it is amphibious.
Yeah, that's the word.
It is amphibious as well as, what's the opposite of amphibious?
Amphibious is something, or it's an animal who lives in the water.
Not an animal, no. Amphibious is an adjective, so it's not an animal. It is anything that is in water or adapted to water, anything. So this is an amphibious vehicle, as well as, what do we call it when a vehicle is on not water but on the ground, normal roads? Not amphibious. What do you think the opposite word would be? It's very similar to a word in Spanish. Earthly would be English, Giulietta. How would you say earthly in Italian?
Terrenal? No.
There you go. Very good. Almost. Terrestrial.
As well as terrestrial. Right. Amphibious as well as terrestrial. And look, John, in the cabin is protected in order to enter. Yeah, not to enter, or not to permit, or not to let enter water or any substance there.
Yeah, so maybe the wheels are a little bit like balloons that stop it from sinking too, because you can see what it looks like an exhaust panel, like those vents at the top of the cabin or whatever that is. Looks like exhaust, or maybe not. Maybe it's just a vent to get air into the engine. So my guess is the front two wheels especially are somehow like balloons filled with air or something like that to let it float so that the engine doesn't get flooded. That's my guess. I don't know. I could be wrong. All right. Let's see if we can find out what's actually going on in this picture. Give me just a second. And my computer is so slow. Give me a second. Trying to click the link, but it's not letting me. Give me a second. Almost there. There we go. Okay, now it's working. And I'm going to put a little description for you in the chat window in just a second. But I can tell you, this is the all-terrain vehicle called the Rhino. I can tell you that. This is called the Rhino. And it didn't exactly catch on. It's an invention that came and went. Okay? So, let's see. Rebecca, why don't you read this one for us? Can you read the description I just posted?
Okay, the description. Where it start?
In the chat window.
Yeah, I know, but it's up. Okay. Greek-American inventor Elia Agnides amassed a fortune coming up with clever inventions. One of his more unusual creations was the Rhino. Rhino, an amphibious four-wheeled vehicle designed to patrol and defend the vast rugged wastes of Alaska and Canada. Weighing in at 5 tons, the four-wheel drive machine could hit speeds of 45 miles per hour on the highway. Defining features were its massive front wheels, which had 6-foot diameters. I'm lost. Wait, sorry. Yeah.
Defining features.
Yeah, I know where I am because I had good speed. Yeah. Define feature.
The fourth paragraph from the last.
And weight 1,500 pounds each. They are hollow, hemispherical shaped wave. The Rhino, its unique all-terrain capability. As the vehicle sank into mud, sand, or other soft surfaces, the bearing surface of the reversed wheels increased, giving it greater traction.
Good. Stop there for a second. So now we have a little explanation of why it looks this way. That last sentence, right? As the vehicle sank into mud, right? The ribbed wheels increased, giving it the surface. Oh my God, I can't read. The bearing surface of the ribbed wheels. The bearing means to the thing that takes the weight. The bearing surface. The surface that takes the weight, which is ribbed, because you can see those ribs, those lines on the wheels are ribs, just like the ribs in your on the sides of your torso. The surface weight increased, giving it greater traction. By the way, class, what is traction? I'll give you a hint. You need traction to get out of mud. If you have no traction, your wheels will just spin. What is traction, class?
Traction is the contact between the vehicle and the land.
Yeah, that's it. If you have no traction, you've got no contact. That's right. So like you can lose traction on ice because there's there's a little thin layer of water on the ice, right, that has you slide across it, for example. Okay, very good. Let's see. Well, Jose, why don't you just read the last 3 short paragraphs there? The second part, from the rhino's massive wheels. That part.
The rhino's massive wheels and low center of gravity also meant it could tip 75 degrees to either side without toppling over. In the water, the hollow wheels provide flotation, while a rear water jet provide propulsion.
Propulsion.
Propulsion
Right.
at speeds of about 4 miles per hour. The Marmon Harrington Company of Indianapolis built one prototype of the Rhino for demonstration. The United States military declined to purchase any, reportedly out of concern that the wheels could be punctured by gunfire, sinking the vehicle.
Right. All that money and time, and no one bought it. I guess if you're going to make a military vehicle, then it should be impervious to bullets. There is a link to the pictures from today. If you don't see the link, I will put it in the chat window, in the group chat window as well. Feel free to go back and review these pictures and remember some of the key vocabulary as well. Okay? We're going to have to stop there. Great job on describing these pictures in different ways and expanding your vocabulary. I'm going to be back in 1 minute for a special return to the game of Taboo for our language games. Taboo is the game where you have to describe a keyword without using any of the common words that you would associate with it. Those words are taboo. You can't say them. Okay? So expand your powers of description a little more in language games coming up next.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good week.
Bye.